No, it's too late. They're already saying hello.
Hello.
Let's do the intro.
Do the intro.
Go on, show them.
No, I'm going to
Go
sit
on.
here like this.
Show them what you did.
I didn't do anything. They don't need to see what I did. I made a mistake is what I did. Okay, well, today's video is if you could meet somebody from history, who would it be and why?
I don't want to see yours.
So obviously instead of it being one person, because there's going to be like a 3-minute video, I said we'll think of 7. I found 5. I don't know how many Mum's
I've
got.
got 3 at the minute, but I know I've got more in my head, but I can't think what the names are.
That's one of the
Yeah.
things that I've got.
You know, him that did this and her that did that.
So mine are like whoever it was that did this, blah blah blah. So I guess, well, ladies first, I suppose.
Okay, well my first one would be Walt Disney
Oh, okay.
and what he thinks of Disneyland now.
As in the company, the movies.
As in all of it. As in the whole thing that he built and made. I saw a thing on TikTok this morning, well, on the phone anyway, and it was places before they were famous. And there was only 2 this person put on, and one was Walt Disney, and it was a garage. I really wonder what he'd think of it now, with the fact that, you know, he started with Mickey Mouse, and now we've ended up with all this Jurassic Park, all this kind of stuff that is very much, I know that's Spielberg, but very much all for Disney, isn't it?
That is because you got Universal, haven't you? And then you got Disney. I think it's all part of one big thing. They've got their hands in each other's pies, haven't they? Them lot.
So
well,
just, you know, what does he think with all the controversial of rewriting a lot of the stuff with different coloured people? And there's a lot of that going on at the moment.
he was racist, wasn't he?
I don't know, was he?
Apparently so. He was very racist. So all of this that's going on, like today, all this wokeness and stuff, he wouldn't have had any of that. That'd have been straight out of the fucking window.
Well, it would have been interesting to have had a chat and a cup of tea and see what he had to say and think about it all and what he would put back, what he would take out, what he would...
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think you'll probably find with the people, I think it's more of why we want to meet these people is for conversations, to sit and have a cup of tea and a biscuit and have a chat. So, okay, was that yours then?
Yes, that'll do. Yeah, go on, that'll do.
Well, if you've got more to add.
No, just wondering what he would have to say about his company now.
Okay. Well, my first one is multiple people, but I can only think of 2.
Okay.
But I'd like to meet Jesus and Thor.
Jesus and Thor.
Yeah.
Okay. As in, you are believing that Jesus did it.
Well,
not that you personally, but I mean, obviously, that Thor is again a mythical.
The reason why I would like to meet Jesus and Thor is because if I get to meet them, they obviously exist.
Yeah.
With Jesus, I would like to be there during his death, shall we say, and his resurrection, because I want to know if that's true or not.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And obviously with Thor, you know, being of Nordic descent from both mum and dad, again, it would be, for me, it would be more of a, if I could meet them, it proves they exist. And it would also prove that more than one religious icon, or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I mean, like Odin, would you meet Odin, or would it just be Thor?
I mean, the thing with Odin is you know, he's the big man. That's like saying I want to meet God.
Well, it's not wanting to meet God.
Well, I mean, for me, if I met Jesus and witnessed his resurrection, I would be like, okay. You know, I would be apologising to a lot of people.
You wouldn't necessarily have to meet God, as long as Jesus proved the point.
And obviously the same with Odin, with Thor. If I met Thor, again, it would prove that I watched it's an episode of Supernatural where all the gods met up. So you had, you know, Jesus, you had Thor, the elephant woman, Geisha or whatever it is.
No, that's not.
All of the, you know, the gods from all of the mythical whatevers. That's so you know, like go into a meeting room, and all of them. So it would prove to me there isn't just one, but there is one to that religions. God is the God of all Christians and Catholics. Thor is the All-Father to the Nordic stuff.
Okay,
Zeus
so
is
each one has its own
Yeah,
god.
yeah.
Not that our God is the be all and end all. That
Yeah.
there are, or is he the big god and then he?
well, no,
little
you've
gods,
got
or-
God, which is the leader of the Christians and the Catholics. So then you've got Odin, which is
Yeah.
the leader of all Norse
Yeah.
gods and goddesses.
Yeah.
You know, the
Gods and all that.
who
Yeah.
is the
yeah.
big man of all the... Just to kind of put that thing to rest of, stop telling me my God doesn't exist. Do you
and
know
that
what I
your
mean?
God is better than my God.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
they're all the
yeah.
fucking same, but for me it would prove...
So almost like world leaders. Then you'd like
Yeah,
like you sit down with all the gods of
The God, yeah,
gods of the world. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Is that the 7?
that's all my 7. No, I do have others. No, that was kind of because it's under like a religious...
Yes, like an umbrella.
Yeah.
Okay, well my second one is Michael Jackson.
Oh.
Actually-
Brother chose that.
Did he? Well, the reason I chose Michael Jackson is because obviously there was a lot of controversial stuff when he was alive. A lot of controversial stuff still going on now about his children, this, that, and everything else, and that people have seen him alive and all that kind of stuff, bit like the Elvis thing. But also, as a music icon, I really would like to know. I mean, I know he's not been gone long, but what does he think now? We've got all the rappers. We've got no, what I call, from my age, we've got no real music. We can't sing to us.
It's all
stuff.
it's all factory made, isn't it?
Yeah, and you've got, like people that actually can sing.
That can't get...
Yeah, you know what I mean? He was such a clever person for songs and designs and all that kind of stuff, and he lived in his little cuckoo land.
Well, because you know what he did? The story goes... In one of Eminem's songs, he not attacks Michael Jackson, but mentions about him with the issues that surround him. So what he did, he bided his time, and then bought the rights to Eminem's music.
Did he? Ah, see what I mean?
So
He's a clever
it
man,
says.
clever man.
He's not stupid in that respect when it comes to music, because obviously him being from a child to
Yeah,
the day
that's
he
what
died.
I mean, I like Michael Jackson. I like his music, I should say. I'm not necessarily a fan of him. I think he was a complete and utter bit Fruit Loop. You understand why when you listen to his history. Actually, to hear what he's got
Still
to say.
100% innocent.
Still, what you got to say about the way music's going. So the fact you can't even really sing to half of it.
Especially when you listen to a lot of artists now and you're like, how the fuck did you get signed? And then you've got somebody like Corvex who was actually on American Idol, but because he refused to change who he was for them, they wouldn't put him through. Because he got through all the preliminaries and all that kind of stuff, but because he wouldn't change who he was, they dropped him.
That's what I mean. I'd just like a cup of tea with Michael Jackson and a bit of a chat. Bit of a mumsy chat.
I mean, yeah. My second would be Mother Teresa. Again, to kind of sit down and have a bit of a chinwag about how the world works from her point of view and all that kind of stuff. But also to see if she really was as nice as everybody made her out
I
to
don't
be.
know, because there was some talk, wasn't there, that perhaps she wasn't.
Well, this is what I mean. Like, she was deemed the nicest woman in the world, wasn't she? The nicest, the kindest or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it takes to be a saint.
We all know what goes behind the doors of a church. Not saying anything else other than that, but if you know what I'm talking about,
wink, wink, saying them all.
if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So even being silent on certain situations makes you guilty by association. Is that the right term?
Yeah.
I mean, if she was generally a nice lady, then awesome sauce. But again, like you, I'd like to sit down and have a cup of tea and just kind of have a look. A lot of my a lot of my things is I would like to see how things work from their point of view.
Yeah.
So to sit and have a good old chat.
Okay, well, my third one would actually be Hitler.
Okay, I was going to put him down. I'm like,
Well, I muck out tonight with the
you do.
thingy that only because of Elon Musk.
Makes me a little nervous sometimes. But.
No, it's just a joke. I mean, God, I wouldn't know. But I would like to know what he thinks of Trump and his attitude. I'd love to know what he thinks about the Russians.
Well, because he was after them, wasn't he? In the Second World War.
Yeah, and just generally, I would like to know what he thought, why he thought he was so superior that he could wipe out men, women, and children
Of a certain
just
race.
because. Yeah.
So yeah, you'd like to sit and ask him like why he did what he did.
Yeah, why he did what he did, what makes him think he is so special, and what he thinks of today's. You know, we're on the brink of World War Three, or whichever way you want to look at it, depends on the Falklands and stuff. But anyway, I want to know.
Showing your age there, lovey.
Yeah, I want to know what he thinks of Trump and his stuff. Whether he would side with Trump or whether he thinks he's a madman or. Yeah, I just think his opinion, because he was such a psychopathic nutjob, what he thinks of today's...
Oh, so you're going on how these historical people would have thought how things they did to put in process of the world to move forward, and then we've come along and gone, do you know what?
Yeah.
Now figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've had wars, we've had horrific wars. I mean, oh my God, it sickens me, it saddens me to think of all these people that have fought and died for nothing, really. Because some person decided that they were better than the rest of the world. And it sickens me to my guts to think that somebody like him and Trump and Russia and whoever, all the world leaders, let's say, except our silly old sod.
No, he's still a prick as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's not got the brains for a world war, that one. But like...
I could get arrested for saying that.
Who?
That our Prime Minister's a prick.
Well, he's a prick. Yeah, I was at the same
No,
job.
well, cheers for that
Yeah,
then.
because somebody decided they didn't like the look of or the way that other people made money or the colour of their skin or what they believed in.
Yeah, what makes them right and us wrong?
Yeah.
And what makes us right and them wrong?
Yeah.
Who are we as a human race or a species to decide?
Yeah, when we are actually the scourge of the planet, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, one of the best things in the world would be to wipe us all off the planet and just let nature have it back. But I think I would just like to know what he thinks.
On the grounds that he's not going to gas us for asking these questions.
Well,
this is like a time out.
Yeah, this is a bring him back down from wherever, or bring him up from wherever, or piece him back together just for a cup of tea in an afternoon's gone. Then he can fuck off back to wherever it was he came from.
She would do so well without saying fuck.
Did I say?
That's right.
Yeah, it would have been Hitler.
Okay. I mean, I thought about having that one, and that would have been my same thing of talk to me about why you thought that was a good idea or whatever. I'm a very strong believer. Like, I'd love to sit down with a psychopath, like a serial killer.
Is that one of your choices?
To kind of, just sit down and be like, hey,
Ted Bundy.
what makes you do this? Same with pedos and things like that. Just I want to know why. So my third person would be Socrates.
Socrates? Who's
Yeah,
that?
I don't know what his real name. It's the Greek philosopher.
Socrates.
Socrates. Bill and Ted calls him Socrates, don't they?
Right. Okay. Socrates. Right.
Just to have a good old philosophical chat.
Philosophical chat. Yes.
My uncle has a doctorate in philosophy, and we've had some good conversations. I do like a bit of philosophy. Because I'm one for knowledge in life. I like to know things. I'd love to have a sit down, and the way he talks about things makes you rethink other things, that kind of stuff. And so I think he'd be a good. In fact, I think he would actually be a good person to have around.
Well, you probably would.
If you got an issue, have a chat with him first, and then make up your mind.
Yeah. See what he thinks.
Yeah.
Puts it on a level of an understanding, and you can make your choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he was quite an important person to have.
Yeah.
And I think he would be an important.
Okay. Well, mine is a double barrel. This one, because I'd like to have both of them on the table at the same time, and that would be Queen Victoria and the Queen Mother. Not the Queen, the Queen's mother and Queen Victoria.
Are we talking about the late Queen and her mum?
Not the late Queen, her mother. The late Queen's mum. You know, the little lady that used to stand outside the gate? Yeah, her. And Queen Victoria that was married to Edward. Is there a middle?
I can't remember.
Anyway, yeah, she always wore black. Little tiny lady, always wore black. We are not amused.
Okay.
Queen Victoria. Yes. Lived down the road here.
Did she?
Yeah. one of her houses was down here.
'Cause Dad used to thingy for her, didn't he? He
Yeah.
He used to secure it. Like.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Victoria, is she the Victorian age, I suppose?
Yeah, she was Queen Victoria from the Victorians.
Yeah,
She
the
married-
Victoria.
I'm sure it was Ed. Was it Edward? I'm sure he was a German. Both of those, because of their ages, I'd like to know what they both think again of what has been going on in the palace. Because back in the day, Victorian times, I mean, I'm sure it was that the kings were allowed a bit on the side. That's what they did best. And it was pretended and overlooked. Did he?
Yeah, he had a few affairs.
I don't know.
Supposedly.
Never liked the man. But also, the Queen Mother, especially so the Queen Mother, obviously the Queen was her daughter.
Yeah.
Therefore...
Because she was never queen, was she?
No, she was just Queen Mother.
Because she was the king's wife, or the
Yeah.
princess of whatever.
And then the Queen took over when... Yeah.
When he died, yeah.
So, because of those two different age thingies, I want to know what Queen Victoria thinks of our monarchy today and her country, whether she thinks people, transgender, all this kind of stuff brought into everything, whether she would think they would fight for this country, whether she thinks they are men, strong men. I mean, back in her day, there was a war and you just did your thing for her,
Yeah.
That
you fought for queen and country.
Yeah. The Queen Mother, I'd really like to know what she thinks of Charles and Camilla.
Did she die before?
Like it or not, and I love Kate. I love her. I think she's another Diana. But she's a commoner, and you were not to marry commoners.
But even Meghan is class. I mean, she's a.
Back in the day, Princess bloody Victoria, Queen Victoria knew that she was an actress. Oh my God!
Well, that's the thing. A lot of the
They were
traditions.
scum.
They're not. They don't follow the same traditions anymore, do. And in fairness to you can't follow the same traditions as they did 100, 200 years ago.
No.
Because the world won't accept that for a start.
No.
And yeah, and you can't. They have to move forward. Some traditions, obviously, they would
Yeah.
do, but you can't stop people from marrying who they want to marry. Stuff that's just ridiculous.
So anyway, I would just like to know from different time periods which what they think of
Yeah,
today.
their point of view for their time period. Yeah, I like that. Okay, my number 4 is the legendary Freddie Mercury.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A legend in his own right.
Yeah, another Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I'd like to have a sit in a chat, just talk music. Yeah. I mean, it's Freddie Mercury. I mean, if you're from my age, Mum's age.
Why would you not want to?
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you could, why wouldn't you?
I don't actually have any more,
Oh.
but I'm not. I think I would like a chat with Agatha Christie.
Well, yeah, because you're a big fan
I love
of
murder
her.
mysteries. I love any kind of thing like that, and I think the books. To be fair, I've never read one of her books because I can't read them.
Have you thought about maybe getting Audible?
No. It's just because they were written so far back. I can't grasp the words and things together. It just doesn't make any
The
sense to
lingo,
me.
yeah.
I've tried, but I just can't.
Like Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Don't even
Yes,
try it.
it's
Unless
like
your
Jack.
brain works that
Yeah.
way, don't bother.
Yeah, I mean, some of the words that they use in the books that she wrote, I don't know what they are. I don't understand them. But really, she had a very traumatic life for her husband, and then she went off missing, didn't she? And all this kind of stuff. And I would just love to have a cup of tea and a chat, just to see how she feels about life, what she felt about her husband being a cheating, rotten scumbag, and how she. I take that back, I apologise. But, just have a cup of tea with her. Where she gets her murder from. Did she like murder? Did she ever do murder? Did she want to,
Well, Poirot, he ended up being a murderer at the end, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah, Agatha Christie, I think.
Okay. I mean, interesting. I wouldn't say no. If someone said, oh, Agatha Christie wants to have a cup of tea and a chat, I'd be like, I mean, I don't know enough about her like you do, because you all the TV programs. You and brother would be the one I think that would more like benefit than I would.
Yeah.
But, okay, my number 5 is whoever it is, the government or whatever. What made them decide and make it illegal to be gay?
Well, that would have been religion back in the.
Well, no, because even up to
back.
like what, the 60s or whatever it was, it started to become a little bit.
Well, that's
more.
because it was brought out more.
But why? Because obviously before, like back then, if
Because
you
it's
got
against
caught,
religion.
If you got caught being gay, then you'd get put in prison and then medically castrated, wouldn't you?
Probably, yes.
You'd be, So my thing is that why
But that would be religion.
why they did that, and secondly, why to them and not to all the pedos and stuff? Why not medically castrate them? I mean, to be gay is whatever. It's nothing. There is no.
Because it's not meant to be, because the male and female species of the world are supposed to populate the world. They are supposed to literally do the thing, have the babies, and bugger off.
But then
Humans are the only ones really, we live in houses, we've evolved.
Well, I don't know. Again, it's one of, I'd like to, whoever it was, I'd like to sit down with them and be like, what made you decide? If it was because, this person was highly religious and was in power and was like, nope, that's not, or what, why was it made to be so taboo, and and also to kind of help them understand that the more you give negative towards something, the more people will be drawn to it. The more you refuse to let people understand things. One of my biggest issues in the Star Wars world is that, unless you were a Jedi Master or somebody on the Jedi Council, you were not allowed to go into the restricted area. Yeah, where they had all the Sith holocrons and all the information about the baddies and all that kind of stuff. All the students weren't allowed. You didn't ask about it.
They can keep talking, I can hear.
And it's like, the more you deny that knowledge, the more intrigue grows.
Yeah, well, of course it does. That's why we're all nosy.
So if they'd allow, so if somebody was like, what is this gay thing? We don't talk about it. Yeah, but why? What is it about? Why are you... That person then becomes more and more and more intrigued about it and will go elsewhere to find out information. Obviously, that's where trouble starts.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I suppose it's kind of like it comes back to that Hitler thing. What makes you feel that you are so superior that you can deny somebody else's sexuality or thought process without any consequence?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Get that one. Okay. Well, I said I don't have any more, but I do think, I suppose, you have to think about, if you're going back in history, whether you'd go back to like the witch hunters.
I thought about that, but I didn't know the names of any witches.
Well, Judge Jeffreys, he was a witch hunter. He was very back then with the Pendle witches and all that kind of stuff. Again, that is because they say it was devil's work. Religion is quite a big fuck up, to be fair, I think, in this world.
It's a cult, and I'm going to say it, religion is a cult.
It's a very, I think, makes too many wars, too many people think wrong things about people that don't understand it.
I think religion could be a good thing. In fact, if you look at the different types of religion, it's only the Christian religion and the Catholic religion that is the worst. The Nordic religion, that's not about blindly obeying or else. I don't care who you are, what you are, I will love you, and as long as you win in a battle, you can come to Valhalla.
But I think like that, you're going way, way, way back now for religion, in the sense of like savages. They're called savages. That's why the Americans don't like the Native Americans, because they said they were savages.
I think I'd be savage as well if somebody tried taking my house.
And the Spaniards went to the Aztecs.
They were the fucking savages.
Did the same thing. Everybody has a thing. They have this right to go and.
Yeah, but all in the name of who?
Exactly, religion. So I think like that. I know they're saying you can't have good, you can't have bad. You've got to have one or the other, both.
Yes.
One has to
there has to be a balance.
But some of these people that were witches were just people, old ladies that knew
herbalists. They were herbalists.
Knew a bit of a remedy.
Go on.
And would help you out. I think I would like a chat with, again, the person who decides that witches are good or bad. Who decides you burn a witch? Who decides that you burn people? Men, a lot of it, to be fair. A lot of men. Joan of Arc,
did you know?
She was schizophrenic, I swear to God she was. What did they do after she won all those battles?
Okay, I watched two different TikToks. One about the witchy thing, and it was, why did they burn witches? Because they would make potions, they'd make spells, they would, do the devil's work. But what do we do when we make food? We mix ingredients, all different technically, we're making potions.
Yes, but to be fair,
Some potions make you ill. Some things that we cook make you ill. Some things that
Yeah.
we cook make you better. Is that not the same thing?
totally, and that's what they were saying. You know, a neighbour would make you a soup, and you would die, and everyone would assume it was the soup. But it doesn't matter that perhaps you had bronchitis and you died of a lung infection or whatever. You ate the soup last. That was it. She was a witch.
Living in shit. Literally living in shit
Yes.
back then.
You know.
I mean, to be fair, I think we're talking to the two wrong people
Yeah.
because we agree.
But also, when you think back, now I know this was just a programme, Cadfael, David Jacobi.
I'd know it if I saw it.
Yeah, he's, you know, Gandalf. He's his husband.
He's not his husband.
All right.
Well, I mean, they say they're not, because they do
Right.
is it their TV programme now, don't they? Well, I don't know if it's still going. They're two queens or something like that. They're
Yeah.
like best friends that live with each other,
Yeah.
but they hate each other, but they love each other. Yeah.
Anyway, he played a monk. Actually, it was a whodunit. But the priests did it, and nevertheless, they did do it. They made ointments for the poor, you know, for the scabies and all that kind of stuff. They'd made potions. Why weren't they witches?
Because what they would
Why
do.
were they not burnt at the stake?
Because God gave them that gift
Yeah.
to be able to do it.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
and also the Joan of Arc thing. Again, I saw this TikTok. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But back in the days of those era, the Dark Ages, I don't know what they were back then. But the reason why is because women were not allowed to wear trousers.
Yes, but they let her go and fight.
Of course they did.
They let her win all those battles,
Of course they did.
and then
Because that's what
decided
they-
that
yeah.
she was that job.
A heretic. Heretic? Is
Yeah.
that the right word?
That's a bit two-faced, isn't it, men? Bit two-faced again there, isn't it? Yes.
Well, a woman of power back then needed to be silenced.
We won't even go down that road. No. Anyway, yeah, I think that's probably, yeah.
I think Mum needs to go and have a cup of tea.
I need a chat with somebody. Winston Churchill would be a good one, I think, as well.
I think so. He wouldn't take any. In
He's
fact,
a bit,
if you asked him what he thought of our government now, he would be absolutely fucking disgusted.
He would.
Like most of us of England are disgusted with our government.
So far, I don't even know what this was called. They changed every fucking week.
Well, I mean, so
swearing.
we don't upload next week because we've been arrested. Some woman got arrested. She was outside a abortion clinic in England. I think she was English. Correct me if I'm wrong. She had a sign that basically said, if you're going through some crap, you can talk to me. None of this, it's murder or anything like that. She got arrested for protesting against abortions.
Illegal protesting, I suppose. She didn't have a licence to do it, did she?
No, because they're saying it, obviously, you know, it's hateful and all that. And she's
Yeah.
basically saying, look, if you want to chat, because all it takes, not everybody needs to have an abortion. All it takes is to have a conversation with somebody
Yeah.
to help you through a situation,
Yeah.
which is what she was.
Yeah, if you need help, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she got
well,
arrested
again,
for it.
freedom of speech has gone out the window. The dogs.
Trumpy said to our Prime Minister, if we don't sort our freedom of speech out, he's not going to help us out.
Well, Trumpy is...
I know.
Yes, let's not even go there.
Shall we,
Let's not even go down that road. Old Trumpy is a complete and utter nut job.
he's a Fruit Loop.
He is gone in the head. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your week. It's sunny today. I've got the rest of the garden to trim. It's going to rain next week, so I need to get it done. Get stuff down the tip while I can. So enjoy your weekend. And yeah, do something exciting. Make yourself smile. Fuck it.
Like, watch our
Perfect.
videos and share it about.
Subscribe.
And subscribe. And ideas.
ding
Give us
bells
some
and all
goddamn ideas for crying out loud. We're
Yes.
running a bit dry. I told Mum we wouldn't be running dry on things.
I said to him before we started this, I said, I don't mind doing it, but I'm worried we're going to run out. And he's like, no, we won't run out. There's always stuff to talk about. Yes, but I don't want to just sit and talk.
Yeah. So, put some things in the comments.
Yeah. What do you want us to do?
I'm going to grow my beard back. I'm growing it back. I hate it.
He looks young, doesn't he?
I do not suit.
He looks young.
I do not suit having a... I have no idea what I'm going to do when
You
I...
look like, actually, you've gone back in time. You've gone back to curtains and a clean shaven face.
When I'm on hormones, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to buy a fake beard to stick it on.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, on that note,
Bye.
take care, be good, like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Catch you next video.